Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday. That's when we have Team Training Tuesday. I also like to call it Applied NeoLife. And today we want to discuss the power of choice, the absolute power of choice, because we are all given choices every single day of our lives, and we have to make the best choice that is right for us in those circumstances and situations. And I just wanted to start with this verse in the book of Proverbs, which says, wise men and women are always learning, always listening for fresh insights. So to the guests and to the new distributors, I hope this will be a real lesson in fresh insights, which you can use to help you to make choices, particularly in this family that we call NeoLife. My name is Dr. Esa Zanambasi. I am trained as a medical doctor. The name of my brand is Simply Healthier. And what I love to do is to help people to shift focus from sickness to wellness. And there's no better place than in our family called NeoLife, where we help each other to shift, make that mindset shift from always thinking about sickness and focusing more on health and wellness. Our mission as a family is to make the world healthier and happier, and to also eliminate, if we can, financial stress. That is what we want to do. So I have a saying that please stop outsourcing your health. Your health is your greatest wealth, and it is very, very sad if you hand your health over to somebody else to sort out for you. And so there is this gentleman who said that he's actually a medical doctor himself. He said that what you find at the end of your fork, in other words, what you eat, is more powerful than anything you'll ever find at the bottom of and I'll add a word there that isn't there, a prescription pill bottle. So yes, our supplements look like pills, but they are real food. They've just been prepared in such a way that we can take them easily, and their function is to bridge dietary gaps, which are so many. There are so many gaps in our diets, and we do need to supplement. But more of that later. Let's just get some more information. So my question is this: have you ever wondered at the rise in all these conditions? There's so many things that are afflicting people today. Anxiety and depression, digestive disorders, childhood obesity, and other problems for children such as attention deficit and hyperactivity and the autism spectrum disorder. Have you ever wondered at the rise of all those conditions? Because when I went to medical school many years ago in the 80s, we didn't have many of these challenges. And yes, we did see things like digestive disorders, and people got medication for their symptoms. Now, we need to look wider. As a family, we are very good at actually unearthing other possibilities that could be leading to ill health, rather than focusing on just the obvious. So my question is this: have you ever paused to read labels? Labels on, for example, the food you're buying. Labels on the soaps you're using in your house. Your skincare, have you read the labels? And the reason I ask that question is this: that due to industrialization, our health has actually been affected very negatively. We are seeing more and more, sorry, let me just go back. I shouldn't have touched that. We are seeing a lot of chemicals, or we are experiencing and are being exposed to a lot of chemicals, because over the past 50 to 60 years, over 80,000 chemicals have been added to our day-to-day use, and we have normalized it and we just carry on. Those chemicals can be found in food, in water, in detergents, in personal care products, in fabrics, and everywhere you look, they are chemicals, such as petroleum. We now travel in cars, and yeah. So I have a challenge in that the result of those chemicals could be causing symptoms which manifest as disease. And then when you have a disease, you go to get a prescription to solve that disease. But I'm here to tell you that more often than not, you're feeling symptoms that you are mistaking, or you are feeling that they are the problem, they are the disease. It's actually your body telling you that, hey, things are not well. Things need to be looked at. Things need to be rebalanced. Perhaps toxins have to be removed, okay? So the result of that is that there are more and more medications being used to manage chronic diseases than ever before. And unfortunately, that adds to the toxins that have already been introduced. So yes, what the challenge is for us to learn, and thanks to this family, we are learning a lot, that inflammation and oxidative damage are the root causes of most diseases that you care to name. If you think of arthritis, the minute you hear itis, dermatitis, vasculitis, whatever itis, you immediately know that there is an inflammatory process going on. Now, oxidation or oxidative damage is when things rust. You can take an example, take a nail, put it outside and let it be rained upon, and let the sun shine on it and let it be corroded, it will rust. Now, if you can imagine that that is what happens in our bodies, and if you can imagine the blood vessels as an example, that if there is too many toxins floating around and too many of the wrong foods and not enough of the right foods, then yes, there will be a lot of inflammation and there will be a lot of rusting or oxidative damage. So what does inflammation do to the body? Inflammation causes a lot of health issues, such as memory loss and cognitive decline. And all these ones that are listed here: loss of muscle tone, increased cardiovascular risk, accelerated aging, joint and bone challenges causing mobility issues. All those manifest over time, following years, and not just minutes, but years of exposures and of poor nutrition. So I like to say that the two most important things as members of this family should take care of are what you expose yourself to and what you put inside your body in the form of food. And then everything else falls into place. So inflammation damages the body, and all these conditions are being seen on a daily basis in hospitals. But we normally catch them at the tail end after the damage has been going on for a long time. So we advocate fundamental changes in lifestyle. And here are the 6 best doctors that we have been blessed with. We are given them by our Creator. Fresh air. You need to get up and move. We call that exercise. Whether it is just walking, whether it is a work that gets you to walk or to move off the seat, not just sitting in an office, but you need to do some exercise. And then we need to remember to drink water. We need to remember to rest. And to eat healthy food, which we're going to talk about. The sun is so important, and there was a time in the history of society that people were being discouraged from exposing themselves to the sun, and we have seen the fallout, such as low levels of vitamin D and other conditions, such as mood disorders. So yes, health is very much like money, and we can never have a true idea of its value until we lose it. A lot of people have drifted away from eating fresh fruits and vegetables and are eating fast foods, which is very bad. But it is a known fact that good nutrition, as we are supposed to be having it, can help to lower risk for many chronic diseases, such as heart disease, stroke, some cancers, diabetes, and osteoporosis. These are the kinds of diseases that we now call non-communicable diseases or lifestyle diseases. So it stands to reason that we need to change our lifestyle and go back to real food, real food. Yes, we can try our level best, but agricultural methods have also degenerated, deteriorated, in that a lot of farming is done with a lot of chemical inputs. So we just need to be aware of that. And for things to get better, we need to fortify ourselves. We need to make our bodies stronger so that we live in the real world, but we try our best not to be so exposed. So, in short, it is all about knowing how to choose. And so I want to discuss the 7 keys that will help you to become a new person for yourself. And also I want you to remember that hormone health and weight management are crucial, they're central, they're the core to your good health. You need to focus on those. So here are the 7 keys you need to exercise. I've actually been through them already, but I've added to them. You need adequate nutritious food and sunshine, as we've mentioned, but here's a 7th one perhaps, and a few more of these. You need to be so aware of our exposure to another type of toxin called electromagnetic fields. Okay, so there are ways to do that by making sure that when you can limit that, you can walk outside barefoot, and that dissipates some of the accumulation of that particular toxin. We call that grounding, but yeah, we'll discuss it as time goes on. And then proactively bringing down stress. Perhaps one of the biggest stressors in life is financial stress. In this family, we have ways and means to supplement incomes. Initially, it might start small, but as you hang around with the family and associate with people who can help you to make your income circle grow, you'll see that that brings down stress, as well as just participating in a positive environment. We've talked about sleep, and now this one, ditching toxic chemicals. I can't speak more strongly about how important it is to start with that in your life. So let's go on and talk about hormones. Hormones, those are the way the body communicates. It is the information superhighway. There are glands that produce these hormones, such as those ones over there. The important ones are pituitary, the thyroid. You have the pancreas, the gonads, so those are ovaries and testes. Those are very important glands. And then the thing about hormones is that many hormonal imbalances have similar symptoms, and many people may have these symptoms, and it is because of hormonal imbalances, which are often triggered because of all those things that we've talked about, such as toxins, and lack of sleep. One imbalance often results in other hormones becoming imbalanced. So that is very important to know. Now, here are some common symptoms of hormonal imbalance. And I'm sure many of you may know people who complain of these things. One of the most common complaints that is hardly ever talked about, or some of them, are things like changes in bowel habits or issues around reproduction, okay? And difficulty in regulating temperature could be because of hormones being out of harmony. And then persistent fatigue. Perhaps that is the one that you will hear most commonly. People saying, I am tired. Okay, so just knowing the foundations will lead you to think widely, because here are more symptoms. Mood disorders, okay, such as anxiety and depression. Hair growth disorders, memory loss and brain fog, osteoporosis, sleep disorders, and a big one is unintended weight changes, particularly weight gain. So for the new people on the call and for the guests, and particularly today, I wanted to focus on people who joined the family in the past few weeks. You know, we have solutions, and the more we talk about them, the more we learn about them, the more it becomes clear that, hey, we can do something about this and we can help so many people. Here's a big cause for women of hormonal imbalances and a lot of other health issues that arise from just giving birth to the next generation. You will find that some women never get back to normal after their first 1 or 2 pregnancies. And it shouldn't be like that, because as women, we know that it is important to be good mothers, good wives, and good members of society. But if we are made sick just because we've had a baby, I think that is not right, okay? And then here's another picture. This is actually of a man, and we are seeing more and more men manifesting central obesity as a result of hormonal imbalances, and part of that can lead to prostate problems. Again, we don't want that, because that impacts on future generations. If our men folk have the reproductive system that is unwell and is diseased just because of hormonal imbalances and exposures to toxins and malnutrition, in other words, not enough nutrients in the diet, then there's a problem. And those are the kinds of things that we want to solve and we want to keep talking about. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time for action. Let's get ready to take action. And again, congratulations for all of you who are new to the family. We shall work together to make the world a healthier and happier place. Now, the question is this, that there are so many people out there who are taking supplements. They go to the local store or the local chemist and just ask for a supplement. Maybe they have been told that you are lacking vitamin B, you're lacking calcium, you are lacking magnesium, you should get yourself a vitamin D. And they are overwhelmed because, yes, there is news out there that people need supplementation. So they are buying some supplements already. But now, can they be trusted, those supplements? Do they know their source? And do they know the scientists behind those supplements, if they are indeed scientists? So those are the kinds of questions that we need to also be asking and looking around to say, who can we share what we've got with? Because the more you share in our family, the more the world will become healthier and happier. Well, for the people who just buy anything, researchers found that almost over 700 products were being marketed as dietary supplements, and they contained hidden active ingredients that were either unsafe or unstudied. Now that is scary stuff. So again, I ask, who can we trust? And this is it. There's been news, before I tell you whom to trust, that in order to prevent diseases, one has to manage weight, one has to do physical activity, and one has to eat a diet that is rich in whole food nutrients. So these are the people that our family, called the NeoLife family, chose to trust. This is the Scientific Advisory Board. It was established in the mid-70s, but you need to get this. NeoLife itself as a company started in 1958. So that's a while ago. And in the mid-70s, this gentleman called Dr. Arthur First, who was a top toxicologist and pharmacologist, came across to NeoLife and established the Scientific Advisory Board. It's a board that comprises of renowned scientists who are specialists in their fields, and they do all the research and development. And now I want you to get it very clear that the ethic here is that everything that we have is based in nature and backed by science. And that to me is an awesome way to be reassured. Okay, so let us get to the nuts and bolts. We need to start with looking after our gut. Because, you know, a lot of the immune system, that system that keeps us protected, resides in the gut, between 70 and 90%. And that is so interesting because a lot of times we are putting into that gut things that we haven't quite thought about. We just eat without thinking, is this good for me? Okay, so a healthy gut actually works a bit like a sieve or cheesecloth. It will allow only nutrients through, but it keeps larger food particles and bacteria that are disease-causing, yeasts and parasites out of the bloodstream. However, it is quite possible to create a leaky gut. The healthy gut becomes a leaky if the tight junctions, the junctions that hold this one layer thick cell layer, okay, that layer, if it becomes damaged, it will become leaky, and that allows things through if it becomes compromised. And the other result is that there is reduced nutrient absorption. So things such as antibiotics, such as antacids, okay, things like stress, things like the toxins that we're talking about, all those can compromise the gut and lead to malnutrition, okay, reduced nutrient absorption, and lead to a lot of things entering the bloodstream. And therein begins the inflammation that we really would not like to have. So we have to be very mindful about our diet, because modern lifestyle is showing us that our diets have become more and more processed, and we have drifted farther and farther away from what we should be eating, which are whole foods, okay, real foods. So if we just quickly go through this one for the benefit of the guests, we at NeoLife say that we have a wellness pyramid or wellness triangle, the base of which should be physical activity and weight management. And then we should have a good diet comprising of whole foods, particularly whole grains. Now, whole grains are very, very hard to come by in this modern lifestyle. Really hard, because true whole grains have to have all the things that a grain should have, including the oils. And then we should have fewer and fewer proteins and fats and sugars, and we should have a reasonable amount of fresh fruits and vegetables, because those give us some nutrients that are very specialized. Unfortunately, a typical lifestyle pyramid looks something like that, where people are eating too many of the fats and sugars and hardly doing any physical activity. And as for whole grains, they don't get any at all. It's down at the bottom. So the net result is that that complaint of being tired becomes louder and louder, okay? We are supposed to be energetic for as long as possible, but very quickly people slip into the tired zone and live there for a long time, a big chunk of their lives, before ultimately the body, which has been trying to really keep up and to be resilient and to be strong and to use all the resources that it can use, gives up. And that is when sickness begins. So I want everybody to get the idea that it is not an event, it is a process. And as a result, it will take a process to reverse that trend. Okay, so the result of all this is that we lose out on a huge amount of quality of life. We might have many years, but the quality is not as we want it to be, plus all those conditions. And many people are actually maintained on medication just to let them to chug along. And this medication is addressing symptoms and not necessarily the root cause. So that's where we have the difference in this family, because we supply what we call grain oils in the form of TNN. And I will just give you the history of TNN very, very quickly. You know, there was a study that showed that people who had been admitted with very, very severe chronic fatigue responded to these grain oils, because the cells became fed and the people who were lying really sick in bed got better. And their hormonal levels also improved remarkably. And so this was the first product that NeoLife put out. It's called TNN Grain Oil Concentrates. TNN simply means 3-in-1. These are grain oil concentrates extracted from wheat, from rice, and from soya, to replace what has been taken away through food processing, which was invariable and inevitable with industrialization. So by using TNN, you will enhance your energy, and you will also improve the way those cells actually absorb the nutrients that you're providing. And NeoLife has led the way in cellular nutrition. They actually feed us with the nutrients that we have at a cellular level, enabling nutrients to get in and do the work that is required to be done by the mitochondria. Those are the powerhouses of the cells. So with healthy mitochondria, healthy cells, we become healthy. And that is through eating human natural nutrition. Now, I just want to pause quickly and change gear and talk about the toxins that you can eliminate. We have the first on the planet non-toxic range of cleaning products, again, by this company called NeoLife. And even if the kids were exposed these products are strong enough and can clean big messes, and yet they're gentle enough not to poison the children or to damage the environment. So we have these 2 or 3 products. There's a 4th one called Care, but we have a huge range of cleaning products. When I say huge, I'm talking about the versatility. For example, let's look at LDC, safe for the whole family, but with this one product, you can wash the body, you can wash the dishes, you can wash the vegetables as well. You can shave with this as men. You can, if you prefer, clean the house. There are others to clean as well. They are versatile. So you can see that they will replace a huge number of what you are currently using. And then this is my favorite product. And for the people who don't know me very well, this is actually why I got started in NeoLife. I was looking for non-toxic, highly effective, and 100% biodegradable and very economic cleaning products. And I found them here. I've never looked back. So let's go back to talking about nutrition. Children are important. Unfortunately, we tend to only remember them when they are sick. I want us to get used to the idea that we need to start early. And with this family, you have a massive opportunity to share what we've got to young parents for their children, so that we have a healthier generation going forward. So let us build a strong foundation. We have Vita Squares and Vita Guard. Vita Squares have TRIANN because we know that the children add over 1 billion cells daily as they are growing. And those cells need to be constructed or to be built properly. And then they need to protect their immune system. So here's Vita Guard. So let's start early. And then of course we have the core nutrition. I've just called it breakfast. Choose a healthier option with the future in mind. A lot of people will settle for all sorts of things, and I wish you knew how damaging a lot of those processed foods are. And perhaps you can just gather up all the money, because those processed foods are not free of charge, right? Gather the money and invest it in your health for the future. Now, that is what Pro Vitality, or the set of products, looks like. TRIANN, the fish oil called omega-3 that brings down inflammation. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Fruits and vegetables, and vitamins and minerals. So omega-3 is so important. Our difference is that ours is complete. We have all 8 omega fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids. It brings down inflammation to the extent that it will help to avoid heart disease, help to bring down the wrong fats and improve on the lipid profile. It also brings down inflammation, quite remarkably important for diseases that are inflammatory in nature, such as arthritis and other diseases, as we mentioned. So those are all the 8 molecules. Most companies will only sell you 2. And as a result, that omega-3 does not work very effectively. So those are the benefits. They will promote even emotional health. We've talked about mood disorders as a result of the non-communicable diseases. Yes, these will help you to promote emotional health, support healing, and also eliminate other problems because they control inflammation. Now, let's talk about the shake. Very, very, very important part of the core nutrition. And what it does is it helps to maintain blood sugar in a narrow range that we call the glycemic control zone. Instead of having wild swings in blood sugar, which can ultimately damage blood vessels and burn out the pancreas, that's where the insulin is produced. This product will help to control that, as it supplies all the 22 amino acids, so that in case the challenge is you can't make insulin because you don't have all the tools to build the insulin, such as all the 22 amino acids and the vitamins and minerals, it will supply all that. And pretty soon you become better nourished and therefore healthier as well. So everything we have is 100% natural, nothing to worry about, not even genetically modified organisms are in there. And lately, there's been a concern about gluten. Some people are gluten sensitive, and that could be one of those toxins that can cause disruption of the gut, leading to a leaky gut. So there's no gluten in here either. Now, we have minerals, very, very important, and ours are what we call chelated. In other words, they are wrapped with amino acids that ensures a bigger amount of absorption, bigger absorption than if they were non-chelated. That again was the technology, thanks to our pioneer, Dr. Arthur First, and pioneer of the Scientific Advisory Board. The result of this is that they are not irritating to the stomach and intestines, they are absorbed maximally, and as a result, you need just a small amount to get a good effect and to build healthy bones. Now for the men, look after your prostates, please. I mentioned it earlier that we need healthy men so that the future truly becomes healthier and happier. Okay, so zinc is important for healthy metabolism, for all the enzyme systems, for healthy skin and hair, but importantly for the health of the prostate. Then we have other things called phytonutrients, very, very unique and found in this family. And you all have access to them. And for the guests, you can have access to them. You can choose your price, the price that you want to buy it at. You will turn to the person that has invited you, and they will discuss this further. But yes, phytonutrients, for example, cruciferous, it helps with estrogen balance. And as you've seen those pictures, particularly the concern that we are gaining a lot of weight, it could be because of imbalances in hormones, particularly estrogen. There are lots of outside estrogens that cause havoc. Then we have the herbal alternatives. Wow, we have feminine herbal, we have a lot of other herbals, but for women, I've talked about the fact that we have quite a few issues, and we can address that as we can have the men also address their issues as well. Masculine herbal complex promotes vital male balance and also promotes amazing stress management. So this is a new month, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it, the month of September. We are almost reaching the end of the year. I hope your goals are all on track. And as we look forward to getting to all the impact summits that are coming up very soon in next month, I hope you are all getting ready to meet and learn as much as possible. So thank you. I'm going to open it up for a few minutes. Let me just check the time because I don't want us to be caught off guard. So I will stop recording and we can